How's it going? It's Mark Dudley, and welcome to the first episode of the new improved in the lab. Today I got a special guest, somebody who I've been wanting you guys to who I want to talk to for a while. My good friend Christie Shinn. Hey Christie.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about bullying in the fandom. Christie is unfortunately had to deal with a lot of that recently herself. So I thought it would be good candor to talk to her about that particular thing. And we'll talk about some other things. We'll get to see what Christie's doing professionally and stuff as well.
Sure,
So
sure.
Christie, as I was saying before, you got a lot of bullying and stuff that we're seeing in Star Wars fandom, sci-fi fandoms, Star Trek. You got bullying going on in the gaming fandoms. You got bullying going on in the comic fandom, comics gate, gamergate, stuff like that, right?
Right,
Bullying,
right,
misogyny, things of that nature, right?
right.
Uh, Having dealt with some of that, a lot of it actually over the last couple months, what are some of your takes on number one, why people do it, and let's talk a little bit about personally some of the things that happened to you, if you don't mind.
Sure, sure. I think standing back, because like bullying is kind of an overwhelming kind of thing when you're going through it, like with any type of harassment or whatever. Unfortunately, I've been
Sure.
harassed a few times. And one of the main things that people like to do is gaslight you, even
Sure.
if you say, this is what happened to me. But I think a lot of things that are a culmination of it, it's not all in all equal parts.
Sure.
But some people are going through excessive drug use, which kind of makes you not on your right head. Does that doesn't excuse it, by the way, but just not in
Sure.
your right head. So therefore, as a person that's an addict, I have noticed that people just ignore a lot of red flags and just kind of tune out people that do
Right.
these things, but yet are saying on the other side, like, oh, I hate bullies. Bullies, you shouldn't do that. Oh, you shouldn't hurt women and all that. But they allow this stuff to happen.
Sure.
But
Sure.
then they'll jump on somebody that they feel safe to jump on to do that type of stuff. Like they'll just jump on a guy, like for example, Ed Piskor. Now people are like, oh, well, Ed Piskor. It's like I heard a lot of really crazy different shit about Ed Piskor in terms of what he had killed himself over with. Let's be frank.
Sure. Sure.
And it was weird because I was never able to find consistent evidence to show it,
Sure.
and whenever I saw it could have happened either way. So I refrained on dogpiling. But I
Sure.
think because some of these people that get into it, unfortunately, some of them are so-called professionals to the crowd or whoever they choose to recruit. And they say narcissist and they're flying monkeys. I don't like to
Sure.
go and bandy about narcissists, but the
Sure.
flying monkey concept is a thing. And they'll make up anything online, broadcast it, and just because other people say, oh, I want to buy into that, they'll buy into that and they'll start ostracizing you. They will go ahead and harass people or organizations or companies or cons that hang out with you. And it's funny because like in California,
Sure.
it's interesting because it's supposed to be where it's very friendly. California
But
is like,
oh,
but California is not very responsive.
sure.
Like, unfortunately, like you go to the cops and you show them and they go like, oh no, it's like freedom of speech. It's like, no, it's not. There's a definite thing in California and federal law, like against harassment.
Absolutely.
And like, and they can go and publish whatever they want about you. And it's like, it's largely not true. And the thing is that in my case, I actually had documents to back up that those were false, several of them. One of them was actually a private matter that actually got cleared up between another company and I didn't want to bring them into it because why
Sure.
not?
Sure. Sure.
Why do that? Because it's like it's been settled, that part. But the accusations I had were pretty wild. And then I had a lot of people that were like, oh, well, we're just going to unfriend you because we just believe them. It's like, you don't want to hear my side, but you're all about like helping women and all this other shit and all that. And just because one person says so,
Well, that's
it's
all a
like for
crock
me,
anyway, though, right? But again, that's a straw person argument, from
yeah,
the standpoint of them, again, my thing is that, so you got to kind of ask yourself this question, right?
right.
How did they feel about your credibility as it relates to just friendship and whatnot in the first place? I mean, they couldn't have felt that great about it in the first place, or they valued those other people more than they valued you. I mean, this is a lot of things, right? They're just so again, it's crazy.
Well, I come from the LA area, and unfortunately, there is this unspoken thing. And I don't want to say that because there's some very, very good, cool people in the LA area,
Sure,
right?
sure.
Once you get to know them. But I would say that some of people that embody that are like, well, you're no of use to me. And, just because you
Oh,
had this
okay. I get what you're
accusation,
saying.
yeah, it's like, and just because you have this accusation, you're spoiled goods. And it's like, you don't want to hear my side. Like for me, I make it a policy not to publicly dogpile on somebody, like with Ed Pisker thing or whatever. I
Right.
sit there and I listen to it and
My
I go
thing
like, okay,
too, I wasn't there. You weren't there either. So
well, and
how can you really,
number two, it's like, I don't know everything.
right, right,
So
right.
like I can make my own personal judgment. I'm saying anybody can do that, but to go online, what I found gross about is that people would just shit on him just to shit on him. They wouldn't care about the so-called victims or the situation. They just found another excuse to shit on him.
Of course. But that's
So
exactly what it's all about.
yeah, and that's the thing. It's like for me, and then largely from what I have heard, even the girl that they pulled it that he was supposedly grooming the minor for, they didn't go and consent to her screenshots. And the screenshots that I did see didn't
Right,
really show anything that I could see either way that was
right,
misbehaving or not. So for me, I prefer, and also if it is a legal matter, I prefer to let the law deal with it. I mean,
right,
yeah, I did explain my misgivings about California sometimes, but I also have mentioned that sometimes you have to let the process work. It takes a moment, but you have to let the process work
sure,
and
absolutely.
more things. And in my case, I actually have some legal documentation, like from the police, from the DA, all these other things saying, and from the court system itself about other matters, and a email paper trail. So it's like, yeah, I could disprove it, but nobody seemed to care about it. It's like, well, we just heard you're bad. That's it. And it's like, really? But I
Right,
noticed the people of worth that were actually getting shit done in their lives,
right,
they went out of their way to like talk to me, or when I ended up talking to them, I didn't try to go out and talk to them immediately, because I was like, okay, let me see what I can handle on my end legally and, you know, documentation wise. But even then, when I did talk to them, because some of them are good friends of mine, I showed them and they said, yeah, that's fucked up.
let's talk a little bit specifically about the issue that you've been dealing with in
Yeah.
particular. So give me a little, give us a little background on it, and then tell us the genesis of it. How does it start?
Well, it's just essentially, I mean, again, some of it is a legal matter, so I can't get too into it.
Right. So
But
I mean,
it
give us the overview if you can.
Well, the press release was released saying I stole money and this was tied in the court system. And they
Mhm,
gave an incident report number.
mhm.
And they said, oh, we're going with the DA. And then they spun it like, oh, it'll stay 2 years in the system. Well, upon quick investigation, which is open documentation, they said also I lied about saying one of the guys harassed me. And
Right.
also I had tried to get this other cartoonist into trouble through another publication.
Sure, sure.
This was in the press release. Each
Mhm.
of those was busted because A, the incident number in question was closed out within 3 hours. I
Sure.
have records of that.
Right.
And then number two, I went to the DA, got the record from 1984. I wasn't here in LA then, but till now, absolutely no record. They could not find it under my name. And they said, well, and I asked the court recorder who
Mhm,
has signed it and notarized it. And I
mhm.
told them, hey, what if like it was under, because I'm known as Christie, but my birth
Sure.
name is a little bit different. They said, it doesn't matter if you're under investigation or there's anything like a misdemeanor or
Right.
whatever,
Because I think
they would
there's
have your
still,
ID.
I think that there's a ID number involved. I think there's also a social security number involved too. So,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah. And
Christy,
it was like basically they would need to use my driver's
sure,
license, my
sure,
ID.
sure, 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 sure.
So everything would be centered around my ID. It wouldn't matter what name I used or whatever. And
Mhm.
they said absolutely no record was found. So they've been
And
lying about,
I have a copy of that. Do you mind if I show that?
oh yeah, show it.
All right, let me
I mean,
make
as I
sure.
said, I requested it and all that.
Yeah, let me make sure I do a little redaction though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like I don't want to go and get
Right,
what is it? My ID stolen. There's like
right,
one
right,
small matter.
right. I'm gonna
But
do. Let
yeah,
me.
like they didn't find anything. So they were banding about like how it was caught up in the system. That's why. And it's like there was nothing. I mean, they were claiming, oh, there's a police report or anything. There was no police report. There was nothing. If at all, a closed out incident report. And, they tried to go and get to Bleeding Cool. Bleeding Cool didn't publish it, but they lied to me and said, oh, yeah, Bleeding Cool published it, blah, blah, blah. No, they didn't. So they've been spreading this around. They got me kicked out of a few and banned from a few Facebook groups. And it was just like, and quite a few people unfriended me, or some people blocked me as a result of it. But it was like based on a lie. They even terrorize cons. They organize that. There's been email documentation of that I got. Um, that they went ahead and they were organizing cons to harass me. And then after they harassed me, they put it publicly online, putting up a statement. She stole this amount of money, blah, blah, blah. No, I didn't.
Well, again,
And then they also claimed that I had lied about another person about their court record as a personal vendetta. No, the court record I have, it names me on there. They misspelled my name, but it is me, just slightly. But it does show that there is an issue with that. And the
uh,
people of this organization got that person involved to
sure.
bother me and harass me again
All right,
and
so
to harass the cons.
let me show this document that
Mhm.
I have here. Okay. Now, Christy, this is the document that you got recently, right?
Yes, I did.
Court. So, what is this document? From what I'm reading, the document is saying that there's really nothing. There's no case against you. Hasn't been any case against you.
No
Going
investigation.
from 84 to 220, right, to recently,
Yeah.
and no investigation.
Yeah, no, nothing at all. It would have had a misdemeanor, investigation,
So let
judgments,
me ask you
everything.
this other question, Chris. Didn't somebody didn't the treasurer of that organization tell you that the DA told them that there was a case against you?
They just claimed that it was in the system.
Right, but so
Yeah.
obviously what we're seeing here is that obviously we're seeing that there's no case here.
There is absolutely nothing. There was no
Right, there's
investigation.
absolutely nothing here. Listen, we're looking at a
No.
legal document. Okay.
Yes.
Uh
Yes.
so there's that. I'll stop sharing now.
Mhm.
So, I mean, again, this, to me anyway,
Mhm.
maybe
Right.
outside looking in, this looks like some type of vendetta, which is the core of what we're talking about today. We're talking about bullying.
Right. Right.
They can't get to you one way, they'll try to get you another. And now, what the thing that kills me about your situation is that you ultimately to try to talk it out to you guys. They're coming to you, at your place of business, and they're putting up stuff like, I'm going to show another piece that I have here that's interesting enough I think that's just crazy. First of all, that one shows us a little bit of online harassment
Mhm.
here. Let me share this. Now, Christy, what is this all about as it relates to? Can you see the document?
Yeah, yeah. They would actually go out of their way to, that was a former friend, and I don't know what happened, but somehow they convinced this person. And I had had multiple business transactions with this person. There was no issue. They didn't even talk to me to get my side of the story.
Right. So they just basically listen to uh the people who again they listen to the bullies
Yeah.
and just made their determination from there, right?
And
This
some of
is
them were
this
so-called friends.
right. This is the essence of bullying.
Hmm.
You have a lot of people who are cowards who they want to get on the who they think they want to get on the cool side of the equation
Hmm.
and they'll go and say things about people and get on the bandwagon about people without even letting people speak their piece. So you talked about Ed Piscor a little bit,
Right.
just a minute ago. People don't realize this stuff is dangerous.
Yeah. I
This
mean,
stuff, this stuff is killing people.
yeah.
Number one.
Yeah. I
Number two,
mean, yeah.
it's also destroying people's livelihoods.
Hmm.
And then look, you come down the pike and you find out that that a lot of the stuff is said is just a crock of horseshit. So, I mean, I'm sure this is my thing, right? In your situation, what I find interesting. is that you got is that they supposedly you're supposed to have all these legal documents and whatnot. And to be honest with you, we haven't seen one document from any of them.
No.
So
No.
if you haven't seen one document from any of them, that usually begs that usually begs to the question of were there any documents, and if there are not any documents, which it seems that there aren't, then these people are taking the law into their own hands.
Well, yeah, I think it's like they're caught up in superhero fantasy. I think some of them, they're
Yep,
like, we're
exactly.
this,
That's
we're that,
exactly
we're
where I was
Batman
going.
and all that. It's like, even before Batman acts and beats the shit out of somebody, he does his research. They
Yep.
kind of don't do that. He doesn't go on hearsay. Yes, he hears word on the street, but if you notice, he does his research. He's a detective. He doesn't beat the shit out of innocent people, at least the majority of the time that I've seen.
Sure, but the thing at the end of the day with Batman is still though,
Yeah.
he's still assaulting people.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm not advocating that, but at
I'm just
least
joking.
in the thing, if they quote
Right,
Batman
right.
or
I'm
Superman.
getting what you're saying, Chrissy. But I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
It's like these people have no evidence against you, from what I've, my research has shown me,
Mhm.
and yet they still want to persist. I want to find one more thing that is really interesting to me.
Well, also
Relate
they
to,
did like two iterations of the same press release, which is find interesting because I'm just like, why are you banding this about? This has been closed out.
well, again,
Yeah.
that's what bullies do.
Mhm.
That's what bullies do. That's who bullies are. At the end of the day, let me show this. This is what really came to my attention.
Mhm.
This, and I want to talk about this because this was something that was put up in at a con, was it not?
It was done in a flyer and it was
It was a
shoved in my
flyer, but the
face.
flyer was posted at a con, right?
It was posted everywhere on social
Okay,
media. And
so
then they actually had the press release with my
because
name
I
saying,
saw the press
see,
release at the con. Now, so
yeah,
the thing is this:
yeah,
what I don't think people really realize is the con is considered your place of business.
right.
And if somebody tries to demean you or whatever and don't have any evidence to the effect that what they're saying has any truth to it, that's libel.
Yep.
And depending on and one thing about the difference between libel and the differences between libel and what is it?
Slander. I know there's
Slander.
two.
Yeah, the difference
Yeah.
between libel and slander
Yeah.
at the end of the day is this, lie from what I understand, and again, I might have to go do my research. I know for sure that libel has damages
Hmm.
because guess what? You are affecting people's livelihood.
Hmm.
So there's damages involved. Have you ever
Right.
thought about suing these guys or the people in particular?
It has been a consideration, let's say. But yeah, it's basically from what I've been told, there has been a very strong case for it. Considering that it was so documented,
Right.
so bragged about,
Yeah.
so open, and
Well, that's
let's
the
just
fact that
say,
they actually had the nerve to post the stuff at your place of business. That's the smoking gun, if anything else, right? So,
oh, and they had video of themselves harassing me at my place of business.
okay, all right. So
Very
that's
open.
even right. That again. It sounds like that they're not the smartest bulbs in the pack. So, I mean,
Well,
again, again, first of all, let me say this to you. I am so sorry that you had to deal with this. As your friend and as a fellow creator, I am beyond sorry that you have to deal with this.
thank you.
That's the
I
reason why I
appreciate
really
it.
want to do this show because me personally, I'm sick and tired of
Yeah. I
it.
mean, for me, it's like if there's something that somebody did actually did wrong, let the process hang out.
Right, and that's
Why are you
another
jumping
thing,
through
right?
shit?
So this is the other thing. So you got these people, they're like, oh, we got cases against whatever. Got a case, let the process ring out. What you don't trust the process? You trusted enough to supposedly run and lodge this court case.
Right. Yeah.
So, I don't know what it is. Maybe it is, vigilante fantasies. I don't know. But, at the end of the day, there's just so much of this going on. Like I look at a lot of stuff that's going on in with Comicsgate, right?
Mm.
And the misogyny. And again, I'm not gonna say all the dudes are like that because I know some Comicsgate guys. I don't think
Yeah.
all of them are like that. But what a lot of them I find they give you a straw man argument as to why it is that they're a member of Comicsgate. And my
Right.
thing is this, I'll say this to you, right? If I was in a club and I knew that this club was doing bad things to people, but they were cool with me, you know, I would feel like this. Some of that blood will be on my hands.
Mm. Or
You
it's
know,
like if it's like this, like for me, it's like I don't try to align myself with stuff like that.
sure, sure,
Just in
sure.
general, just because like, look, I'm here to do comics, and I'm not saying that politics can't be written in comics, but to be really frank, a lot of people don't write very well
Right,
about
right,
that.
right. And the
Yeah,
thing is, politics has
yeah,
always been a part of literature in this country anyway, right? So,
yeah,
I mean, when these people, I mean, all right. So again, like I said, I use commentaries for example, right?
right.
There currently a ton of infighting going on in there. I like
Yeah,
to
there
kind of
is.
say from a I like to kind of call Comic Gate a circle jerk
Yeah.
because it's almost like a pyramid scheme. You know how they do the money. So all the comic guys go and they give money to this thing to make it look big.
Mm.
Then they all go to the next thing to give money to make it look big, and they're all basically funding their own projects, right? To make, I got $1 million project, got $3 million project, whatever, right?
Right, right.
But at the end of the day, none of those projects are really, you don't see them in the stores.
Mm.
If they were making that type of impact, you think you see them in the stores, right?
Right,
Because we're indie comics people, so I mean, I
right,
don't, if I see our stuff in the store here and there, I'm happy. But at the end of the day, that's not really our major focus.
right,
But these guys, there's some name guys involved in this comics game, right? And you don't see their stuff in stores, And so at the end of the day, the argument is like, oh, we can do comics better, you know, uh, uh, the diversity is ruining comics, blah 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 blah. Okay,
right.
but I had one of them tell me, oh, well, if it was using black people for example, if it was a
Mm.
black character, that was on his own and it wasn't just taken over from a regular character, I'd buy it. The book there in question was a good book, but went down in flames. So I'm like, I thought you said you buy it.
Mm.
Again, it's all a bunch of platitudes. Me personally, I like to call a spade a spade. That's why I'm doing this show, so I can call a spade a spade.
Mm.
You got racism, you got misogyny,
Mm.
you got people running around here. It's our fandoms, because again, one thing about our fandoms, a lot of swinging dicks in our fandoms.
Well, I think also the thing is that I think people posture in order to make themselves more marketable. But the problem is when it comes to walking the walk, they really don't do it. They do what they think is walking the walk, but they don't. That's why I don't go around saying, "Oh, I'm for women, I'm for this." It's like I'm already for that because I just do it. Like I do Asian Invasion. That's
Sure,
like an Asian festival, but it's like celebrating the individual Asian people in their individual
sure,
ethnicities.
sure, sure, sure,
But
sure.
I didn't, I mean, that's the thing. I didn't want another Dragon Boat. I didn't want another Sakura or Ume festival or whatever. It's like, it's not that I hate those, but it's like, I'm kind of done with them.
Right.
So that's why I made what I made. It
Hey,
was
so
kind of a
talk to us a
rebel
little
thing.
bit about Asian invasion. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, it's funny because with Asian Invasion, that was started toward the tail end of on the West Coast
Okay.
of after COVID.
Mhm.
So they had Emerald City and like my friends, like they were excited, cons were opening up, and then the Omicron variant shut it down.
Right, right.
So
I remember.
everybody was upset and pissed, but we weren't under so much restriction, so we could be in a comic store.
Mm,
So I told the person at the comic store, like, look, why don't we do this?
mm.
You're Asian, why not? Right? Fuck it, let's do this. And I just like leaned into it. Like, Asian invasion, that's kind of in I think the 30s and 40s with yellow journalism and all that. Like they
Sure,
were
sure.
so worried about that whole thing. I think the Mann Act, that was the act that kept Asians out and immigrating in. They
Yep,
actually shut that down in 68 or
yep,
the 60s, I think.
yep.
And
Because
that's
the
kind
civil
of,
rights movement did a whole lot to get
yeah.
a lot of those acts repealed.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it was 68 or something. I know my parents immigrated after that.
Mhm.
So they came in here with their education on an educational visa. and all that. And also like there were some people of racism, the Asian racism, stop Asian hate, basically getting shit for apparently bringing COVID, even though that's a much more complicated scenario. Just saying, we won't have to get into it. Anyway, I just want to kind of thumb my nose and flip it off to everything.
Sure.
Why not? And so I created Asian Invasion and I
You got
put
a
a little
rebellion streak.
skull.
That's why you and I are friends.
Yeah, yeah. It's like the slitty Punisher skull.
Hey,
It's not even
look.
Punisher skull, but I was just fucking around in the tiger because my background's Korean and everything else. And I just did it to be funny. It worked out and people really liked it. And we expanded to Northern California.
That's how the cool
Um,
shit usually happens.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting because like some cons are not very like there's not a lot of cons in Northern California, which is sad because in the Bay Area, because I'm originally from the Bay Area.
Okay.
Funny, I was born in Chicago, left for after a few years,
Okay.
then I went to NorCal and the Bay Area, and then I came down here eventually, down the coast in
Back
California.
town, the Bay Area and back down. That's what the rap lyric is.
Yeah, yeah. Like it's funny, I was in Hayward and then I was in the home of Apple. So
Mhm.
it's like funny, I make jokes like, oh, I guess I'm part hood, part bougie, but I left when I was 13. Like, what the fuck am I
Okay.
gonna do like that? But
Right,
it's a
right,
joke because Hayward, I mean, it's nicer now, but
right.
Hayward, some areas are really rough in Hayward.
Again,
So
that's the whole San Jose area and stuff, and around
yeah,
there, even NorCal. Yeah, there's definitely some rough places. But so
yeah.
in terms of like, so speaking, all right. So this is the thing, right? How do people like you? So you in Asian invasion, you talk. I'm pretty sure you guys have this discussion, right? Why it about why everyone thinks that everybody Asian does manga?
Because it's like this. I think being born and raised in America, I think we tend to hyper fixate on how things get in here.
Sure, sure, sure.
And just the thing is that we're very media centered.
Hmm.
That's how Americans are. And
Hmm.
I'm not saying it's nowhere else in the
Sure,
country, but
sure,
I was
sure,
thinking
sure,
because I
sure.
have friends from the Middle East. If
Uh-huh.
you listen to a lot of people in the Middle East, especially Dubai, the UAE,
Hmm.
Kuwait, Saudi, they'll
Sure.
speak with an American accent. And one of my friends from the UAE, I asked him, "How come you sound American? I know you're born and raised in the UAE." He said, "I was raised on American media."
Right, right,
So
right,
it's like they're raised a lot. Like the thing is like how we've subvert everybody, American media.
right.
But the
We
thing
got
is
all right. And here in Detroit, we
yeah,
got a huge air population, so I'll get you.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, I'm just saying in general, that's how we kind of
Right,
won Russia because our media.
right,
Like I would hear,
right,
I went to Eastern Europe, and there was my tour guide was there during he calls the communist times, and they went to a dollar store, but the dollar store is not like where we go here, like Dollar Tree. Well, now it's like 2.25 or some shit,
right,
but it's like you go over there and those are the stores you could only buy with American dollars.
right,
So
right,
back in the day, he'd ask the American tourist, "Hey, I can't go in that store, but if can you get something for me there?" So he'd
sure,
give them the
sure.
money, they buy with their American dollars. He actually paid for beef by bootlegging movies
Right, right,
on his
right. Okay,
VCR that he could not get normally.
right.
So it's
That's
one of,
hey,
yeah,
being
like, so that's a
industrious.
yeah, yeah. Like he was, I think, from Romania.
Right,
So so I traveled Eastern Europe. There's a lot of insights that you get that you don't get from the
right.
history.
And leaving here, period. Definitely, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, he like even came to New Jersey during the 80s
Hmm.
and 90s. I think it was the 80s. And everybody defected when he hit the New York airport.
Right.
Like
That's
everyone
right.
was gone, So it was
Right,
pretty
right.
funny. But yeah, they all defected his ass and he's like,
Okay.
where's everybody?
Right. So again, so ultimately,
Yeah,
I'm glad. One thing is this: I'm glad that you're, looking forward. Number one,
right.
and not letting this thing, drag you down.
Yeah,
Because that's the thing is that that's how when you dealing with bullies, that's the best way to show them.
yeah,
Keep it moving. They're not going to stop you from doing what you do, what you're trying to do. That's one thing. And you got to let them. I mean, again, you got to let them know just by your actions that they're not that even if they try to phase you, they're not going to stop you. They're going to be there. They're going to stand in your way.
right.
Uh, I'm going to ask about more. I'm going to add one more thing to this because it's something that I've heard about in the fandom too, and I wanted to get your take on it. Right?
Sure, sure.
What I've been hearing a lot about too in the fandom is grooming.
Oh, grooming.
Do you have any thoughts on that?
It's
Anything that
kind of
you've
hard.
heard?
Here's the thing. Older people used to mentor younger people.
Sure, sure, sure.
and it wasn't a sexual thing. It wasn't anything nasty or weird about it.
Mhm.
And I'm all for the elders or people older or more
And that's our
experienced.
job. That's what we should be doing. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but there's sometimes a fine line with
Mhm.
grooming.
Right.
And it's not always people that are older and younger.
Right.
Like grooming, seeing, like having been through some abusive situations
Mhm.
personally, seeing and knowing people. And again, this is my personal observation and
Sure, sure.
study.
And there's no problem with that. None whatsoever.
And I am not a therapist, so,
Sure.
or a counselor or anything. So I'm not going to be able to give you a diagnostic answer on that. But from what I've seen in grooming, grooming is a lot of very, I do have a therapist, and it's good because she's also got a background in media. So
Right.
I
Right.
get to
Right.
healthily navigate through this
Right.
shit.
Right.
But it's kind of like with abuse, because grooming is
Sure.
technically abuse.
Right.
You disassociate, you get the victim to disassociate. That's why it's like when they say, "Oh, get a spine and leave."
Right.
No, because they've already disassociated you from reality. Because
Right.
they're constantly telling you can't live without them, you're a piece of shit, whatever, or I'm the only one that loves you. They may use things like drugs, they may use sexual like actions, they
Or
may
be
use
like, or they
emotional
probably
abuse.
right. So, from a lot of, from what I've also heard, they'll be like, "Oh, I can get you in at Marvel. I can get you in at such and such, whatever, Gets
Or
and
if or if you do this, I'll love you. Or if you
right,
do this,
right,
people
right,
like
right,
you. That's how you do it.
right. Yeah, I mean, like, I just hear a lot of stuff. It's from the comics perspective that
I think,
you get these guys that people. It's funny because like I have a buddy man who
yeah,
recently passed away, right? And I
right,
noticed back in the day when I was hanging out with him, he kind of a goth guy. Hanging out with him, I would see a lot of these a lot of people in that community, goth community, who are doing comics. Older dudes. I mean,
right,
the dudes who were in their 30s when we were in our 20s, right?
right.
They'd be running around with these throngs of followers, almost like they're vampires, you know.
Yeah, Vampire the Masquerade and that
And
shit.
these
I
guys,
larped on that.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying, but they bring some LARPers too, right?
right.
But they be running around with these guys, and these kids be hanging on every word these people are saying. It's like, hey, look, something from, and it's just me, just talking bit my own personal
Mm,
viewpoint, right? I would be looking at them people like them guys, like, hey, something ain't right here.
right, right.
This guy is a dude. This is a person. This ain't no dude. This dude don't know. He's 30 years old. He knows what most 30-year-olds know, and it's not that
Right,
much more than what you know at 20.
right,
Or
right,
or lo and behold, you know, you see some 17-year-old person, listening to this guy, like he's some type of swami or something. It's
mm.
crazy. And so I saw a lot of that back in the mid '90s, like after The Crow came out,
Yeah,
the
I
movie.
remember that.
I
Yeah,
saw a ton of that stuff, right? The Vampire Masquerade came out. Not saying
right.
that these are things that are causing it. I'm just saying that in these communities, you see a lot of this stuff too.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think unfortunately people like that will take advantage of whatever. It's
Sure,
like,
sure, sure.
in some of the other things where there's rights and all that in question.
All right.
I think unfortunately, and again, I'm not going to go out here because like I'm only speaking from what I've understood from people from those communities.
Sure, sure, sure.
There's, and I might use the forbidden word gatekeep, but it's like
Call it
sometimes
what
they
it
let
is. Hey,
people,
this is a show for that.
yeah, and it's like sometimes they let people in that they shouldn't.
Sure.
That, like, I think I've heard the term from the LGBTQA plus community, like
All right.
trans face.
All right.
So it's like I've been to the bathroom with a trans woman and it was not a big deal. But the thing is, it wasn't a big deal. But there are some supposed influencers that go on, they get really upset visibly online, say, "You misgendered me," right? And like, okay, you kind of feel for people,
All right.
right? But then they brag about going, this is male to female. They brag about going into the women's room and saying, "I pissed standing up." It's like, well, wait a minute. If you're so upset about this person misgendering you as a man, but you go and brag about peeing in the woman's room standing up, like, why would that be a thing to you?
Oh, I mean, so you're thinking that, it's funny because
And
like,
again, I'm this is what I've been
well,
hearing
no,
from other
what I'm
people
saying
where
is I see this is the thing, right? Every
yeah,
community has posers, right?
yeah, that's
And
pretty much it.
I don't, and it's not above or the realm of possibility for me to believe that there LGBTQ plus A people who, might be posing. I mean, I'm just saying every community has posers.
Yeah, and that's the
Okay.
problem. It's like it's like I understand acceptance, but the thing is, and you want to grow a community, but don't do it at the expense. It's like people say, well, I wouldn't be worried because like I'm worried about church. Church is the same way.
Right. Again,
Anywhere.
you got
Like,
posers. More 99% of
yeah,
those people are posers.
yeah.
And
It's
again,
just
this
that,
is no way, I'm not trying to disparage anybody in LGBTQ plus a community, right?
or
Because
even religion, it's just
I
that you have people that are in there doing great harm to that
sure,
community, and you don't call them out on it.
sure,
And
sure,
that's the thing.
sure.
They're doing obviously fucked up things. And
Right,
it's like, no, you need to leave kind of thing. It's like if a priest molests a kid in a Catholic thing, he needs to be, he or she, well, he needs to go and be put, into the fullest
look,
extent of the
I've
law.
even heard, this is the thing that kills me, right?
Right.
I've even heard of, and this is just hearsay, whatever, heard pedophiles are talking about, oh, we're part of the queer community. It's like, oh, no, you're not. What are
Yeah,
you
there's
talking about?
been
Better go on with that. That's crazy.
there has been a few people that have tried to present themselves as queer and they're doing that shit. And
Right.
like I know even the queer community is like, no, fuck no, get out of here.
Yeah, fuck.
You
I
know,
hope I hope exactly what they're telling them. Fuck
yeah.
no, get the hell out of here.
Yeah. And again, it's like as I said, I don't believe members of that community themselves, it's like not a fucking big deal. Like you do the thing with
Right.
them and
They
all that,
people,
not a
they
big
living their
deal.
life, they're doing what they do. Since my thing is this. I tell
Yeah.
people talk about, and it's again, we just go back to what we're talking about with bullying. How people you don't want to bully the queer community. It's like, look, the thing is this. I tell people all the time. Look, if you don't like the queer community, then you stay where you're at, and then you let them stay where they're at. Don't step on their human rights because you don't want nobody stepping on your human rights.
Right. Right.
They
But
got the right to life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, just like you.
I think what the problem is, as I said, I go back to media where we take everything, go and do this, and we pick a side.
Sure,
And
sure,
it's
sure.
like, but we don't look at the whole picture. That's
Right,
the danger that we have to face in producing that much media
right,
online and whatnot. It's like, if I hear something about somebody, I'm like, okay, well, let me see if it's true.
right. But they put it in the media too. It's like, look,
Yeah.
I remember when I was growing up, the depiction of the LGBTQ plus people, it wasn't flattering.
No.
It wasn't flattering. And the thing is, it got so much to what, anything that they can do to marginalize a person, they're going to do it. Like Archie Bunker used to be like call people commie pinkos and stuff like that. It's like, look, and even communism. I'm a marginalized communism. It's like, look, capitalism ain't been doing us no solids either.
Yeah, it has its problems. I mean, I
Right.
think what it is that real life is not really media, but media takes a lot from real
Oh,
life, but it makes
absolutely.
it hyperbolic. It
Yes, it
makes it
does make
very
a
big.
hyperbolic. You're right. You're
Yeah,
right.
right.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
yeah, so I mean, for me, it's like I like to sit here, analyze and observe and read between the lines.
Sure,
Like
sure,
some
sure.
people say, I can't handle the news. It's so negative. It's like, you know how I handle the news? I look at the headline. If they're repeating the same old shit, I don't need to affirm the same old shit.
Right. Because it's all
And
you
something
already right.
changes.
And it's going to tell you exactly what their agenda is.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
it's like, oh,
Mm.
they're all talking about this, but this one thing happened. Oh, like for example, oh, this, and this, world news, and they're repeating it the same thing. Oh, Supreme Court did this. It's like, I'm going to pay attention to the Supreme Court because I want to see what they're talking about.
Sure, 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 sure.
So it's
But
like, oh,
again,
they don't want me to notice this shit. They're
right. But
just
that
saying
leads
for a
back to
matter
what
of
we're
public
talking
record.
about. Well, it leads back to our basic premise, bullying,
Mhm.
how, you have people who try to control the narrative, and when they can't control the narrative, I think they lash out like, they've been lashing out at you because they can't control the narrative. They go, oh, I went to DA, this and this and this. They didn't get what they're looking for. So what kills me about them, they didn't think that you were going to be smart enough to go and and seek out information for yourself. I'm like, what the heck is that? I mean, you think that was going to happen? I mean, do they know you?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that there's a court document for the other aspects of it.
Sure, sure, sure,
And then there's like documentation for another aspect of it. And
sure.
then I have the incident number report for that aspect of it.
Sure. And none of it, and at the end of the day, what we have here, that document that you shared with me just a couple minutes ago, or recently you shared it with me, when you went to the DA and asked him point blank, that's the nail in the coffin at the end of the day. So, you know, I wonder. I mean, again, you will hope that with this overwhelming type of evidence that they would, and the fact that you do have a legal case,
Mhm.
that would put some pause. I really do hope they put some pause on them, because at the end of the day, nobody wants to be destitute out here. And I've worked for the courts myself, for years, and I've seen some things in terms of people thinking that the law was going to go their way, and it didn't, from especially a civil standpoint. So
Mhm.
you think that they would, be smart and back off and say, okay, it is what it is. All right.
Right.
So, and if they don't, I feel bad. I won't feel bad for them then, because hey, they're gonna get what they deserve. I mean, I hate to say it. You know,
Mhm.
right now they might be living in a small house. Later on, they might be living in a tiny house. I mean, who knows, right?
Well,
Or on
then
the
there's
street,
also no house, but then
right?
there
Or
you go.
no house, right? So, because
Yeah.
again, I don't see one thing. But people, especially having worked in the courts,
Right.
people don't understand that these judges they're not playing with these people. They're
Well, they
not
don't like their
they're
time
not
wasted.
messing around.
Right.
They think, oh well, blah 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 blah. Maybe it's white privilege. I don't know what the fuck it is. But I tell my wife this all the time, make me laugh. She talk about we always talk about white privilege. I said, ain't no white privilege between white people.
There you go.
Absolutely not.
Right.
Right. So that just work on us. It don't work on them. So I mean, the thing is, look, now, okay, so I'm gonna ask you that too.
Mhm.
Do you think there was an element of racism in there too? A little bit, maybe? No? I'm not trying to lead you, I'm just asking.
Sometimes I wonder about that. Um, I had a talk with my therapist
Mhm.
about it because, therapists are 110% in your corner, but they're not your friend.
Right, right, right. Now, you always want to make sure you understand that. Right,
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I go there, I tell her stuff and, you know,
right.
because I want to be able to deal with it on a more healthy system because I'm realizing some people just don't deal with stuff well.
Sure,
And a
sure,
lot of
sure.
them brush stuff under the corner because a lot of things. Um, Sometimes it's like the really hard left or hard right people are the really fucked up ones. You
Well,
know,
yeah, because they live on a place of extreme.
well, and also they think they're superheroes.
Well, yeah,
They have
I
a
mean,
self and stuff, and
right.
like I know that sounds weird, but it's like
Well, no,
some
that doesn't sound weird at all. I,
yeah,
I,
it's like
I,
it
I
sounds
agree
weird.
with you 1,000%.
Yeah, they'll put themselves on a pedestal, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't to a point, like that's called self-esteem, but they're like, I am Superman and Batman, but they do all the fucked up things the Joker does.
Right. At the end of
And
the
they're just as judgment, they're like, well, fuck church. I don't do church, but they're just as judgmental as the
right,
pastors, the
right. As
priests,
the
da, da, da.
pastor, you're right, exactly. Again,
So
again,
it's like, yeah. So
do you think? I want to ask the question in a more nuanced way, I guess.
I
Uh,
have seen incidences where people have pretty much said we're basically fighting against the quote unquote other side due to racism, and they were nothing but racist
of
themselves.
course, that's
They
all. Look,
would go out of their way to slur black people, you know, Asians, the Asian fetish thing, to even trans people.
sure. Again, I did. I've everything that you're talking about. I've seen it firsthand.
Right.
The thing is
And
this, right? Again, I know people. I mean, and like, so it's particularly in our fandoms, right?
right,
You got people again who come into the fandom, but and again, like you said, politics is involved in all art, right?
right,
But what I've noticed is that people come to the fandom, and it's like, okay, we drawing comics, we making comics, right?
right.
And then, at the end of the day, those particular people, you know, they come in with agendas, right? So their other agenda will be more important than putting out the comics, right?
Mhm.
And I'm not saying people should not fight for their right life, liberties, and the pursuit of happiness. No way.
Right.
But it's like, all right, so I'm an extremely Afrocentric dude, right? But
Right.
I do I try to focus that all. I try to focus all that in my comic.
Right.
Okay, I'm not gonna look. I have some very strong feelings, but what I do know is that it's not my right to impose my feelings on other people.
Right.
Absolutely not my right. That's just not my right.
Right. Right.
We can have a debate and argue about stuff. Cool, right? But if you leave not taking my side of my viewpoint, or I leave not taking your viewpoint, hey, at least we had the discussion, right?
Right.
But what ends up happening a lot of times, you know, and what I hate, I think what I find to be kind of jarring a little bit
Right.
is, people who I'll give you an example, right? The example will be better. So I
Right.
know this young person who uh they have been working out here, that we have been planning on working together for a while, right? Hadn't
Right.
seen this young person in 2, 3 years. I saw him at a con. I was like, "Hey, how's it going?" For these purposes, her name is Yolanda. For these purposes, right?
Right.
I'm like, "Hey, Yolanda, how you doing?" And and again, I'm not saying I'm not so stupid to believe that a person has to, transform themselves to be a trans person, right? But
Right.
the person, I was deferred to her. I referred to them as her, to another friend of theirs, and she went ballistic.
Oh,
I was like, I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to, I had no idea. You didn't know I was trans. I'm like, I haven't seen you in 4 years, 3 years. What are you talking about?
fortunately, the people I've known that have transitioned, and if I haven't seen them in a while or they go by different pronouns, I say, "Oh, I go by this now." Okay. And I even tell them, like, "Hey, if I slip up, I know you as this. So I apologize if I slip up. I'm getting still used to it. It's not like being shitty. It's just you're switching out of the mode from what they used to be
Sure,
to
sure, sure,
now.
sure, sure. I mean, I
But you're
got
trying to be,
This is funny though too,
courteous about it.
because I have an older, more like she's my adopted sister more so than anything. I'll say that. I
Right.
love her to I just, she's a beautiful person. Can't say anything about my friend.
Right.
She's part of the trans community, and I listened to some of their stories about even the thing that she's gone through, and I've seen her go through things.
Yeah.
And what it's just something about I hate to say she carries herself with a level of grace that I myself try to emulate. Because again, she's just a graceful person. I mean, she's not no shrinking violet. She ain't taking no shit either.
Right.
But the thing is, she calls a spade in such a way that that's the end of it. And you can't say anything. It is what it is, right? It's just because of her life experience. And a lot of people, like people who we say are possibly posers, you can kind of tell because it's about with a lot of these young people. I can say young people, older people too. It's almost like it's about I got you
Yeah.
instead of talking about the things that the community is dealing with and trying to find a solution and camaraderie as it relates to those things with other groups, right? Or they
Right.
are trying to find that intersectionality, right?
Right.
Uh, and again, like I said, I do believe that there are posers in every community,
Yeah. No,
right?
there are. There are.
Right.
Yeah.
And to me, to be honest with you, that's a form of bullying.
Yeah. It's kind of like I get to do whatever I do. And it's
Right. I
like,
can do whatever I
but you're
want.
not representing the community. It's
Right.
like,
And because I'm using the community as my shield, I can do whatever I want to. They'll give a lot of people, and a lot of them, you talk to a lot of these folks, they have no idea about the history of this community, the things this community have gone through, none whatsoever.
right.
It's like some white kid. It's this movie made by I can't remember the guy's name. Spike Johns, whatever. Basically, the guy he was from the Corn Belt, and all he saw was rap videos and the projects. So he thought he went to the projects. He thought the project was about big booty girls and having fun all day and smoking weed. That's what he thought. He thought that what the neighborhood
Right. Right.
was about, right? Because
Right.
that's what he saw. And that's what imprinted on him. And so sometimes you'll see people in the communities that sometimes just don't seem like, they are about those communities. And that's my thing, And again, I
Right.
think using the struggles of the people who are actually in those communities as a shield is kind of disingenuous in the form of bullying.
Well, yeah, and it's also a form of attention whoring, which I don't really advocate. It's like you can
Sure.
cause attention on yourself for who you are, but
Right.
like don't make this single thing your whole personality because that makes me sus on you. Like, oh, I'm just this, I'm just this, I'm just this. It's like that's fine, but who are you as a person? In addition to all these things. I'm not
Right.
saying
Right.
like
Right.
that
Right.
isn't
Right.
part of who you are because that's stupid too. But it's
Sure.
like, there's many different people and many of different personalities and types in
Sure.
a
Sure. Sure.
community.
Right.
And even if you want to go to a smaller subset of that community, same thing.
Sure. 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 But what I hope for those people though is that they get an education over time so they can figure out who they really are,
I
and
think
if that community is really the community that they need to be in, you
Yeah,
know.
and also you have to look at it this way. It's like you pick up a skill by reading the room. And
Sure. Sure.
sometimes I don't think people really do that. They don't kind of
Sure.
observe
Sure.
and watch
Sure.
the people. It's like, how do I go and talk to them in my lexicon and so they can understand me, you know? Because sometimes like we have, and it's not talking down to people. I think
Sure.
that's
Sure. Sure.
stupid because talking down to people will know.
Oh
But
yeah,
talking
absolutely. People can feel that. Yeah.
yeah, it's like it's not talking above. It's like literally like you just talk to people on their level in the
Sure.
way they
Sure.
can
Sure.
understand.
Right.
And it's not talking to people like they're stupid or something. It
Sure.
just
Sure.
means that,
Sure. Sure.
okay, let me
Sure.
read the room. Where are we going at? Like, one guy came up to me, he's part of the gay community. And it's like, well, I kind of don't know. Like, I met this guy. I don't know if he's like, trans or if he's a
Right.
femboy because he had a purse. And I said, well, we can look at it this way. It's okay to ask people because you know
Right.
what?
It
People
is
like to
okay.
talk about themselves. And he said, yeah, that's pretty good.
Right.
But it's just like
Right.
because you have guys that are effeminate,
Right.
femboys. They're
Right.
not just part of the queer community. I mean, they could be straight too. And
Well,
then you have people that are transitioning
sure.
into into the other gender.
Well, it's
So it's
funny because again, I'll see men.
yeah,
I'm a cis male, right?
yeah,
So the thing is, I'll see cis males. They'll be like, "Oh man, that person they hit on me, man. They hit on me. I'm gonna beat them up." I was like, "What you gonna do that for?" They're like, "Oh man, want nobody thinking I'm this, that, and this." I said, "Nobody would think that." I said, "If you," "What do you mean? They don't want nobody thinking you're this?"
mm,
And that's
yeah,
like, "What do you do?" I said, "Look, person hit on me. I thank them, and I say, sorry, I'm not interested. And I keep it moving.
yeah. Like it's
I
flattering, but it's like,
appreciate it, but hey,
yeah, I'm not
I didn't.
taking it.
All right, I got a wife. you
Well, as
know,
one gay guy once said, "Honey, I'm not buying what you're selling. I'm not buying what you're selling," and that's what you can do. Say to them too,
I
and
said,
not in
yeah,
a
it's not
shitty
my,
way. It's just like,
I'm not gonna disparage them for for their lifestyle. Shoot, live and let live. That's at the end of the day, respect due. But I mean, it's not my. I'm not gonna be like, oh, that's not my lifestyle. Da, da, da. It's gonna say, hey, hey, appreciate it, but I'm not on the market. But
well, it's funny because like one time I went to a con and I felt pretty goddamn good because I apparently through all the four main points of the sexuality spectrum, I hit it. Like
all right, all
a
right.
gay guy told me I would change for you because I was wearing an outfit that was so good.
Oh.
A straight woman told me I would totally go
You
buy for
got them
you.
out there like that, Christy?
I I was looking that good that day. But I mean, as I said, I took it like as a compliment.
Right, right,
Like it
right.
doesn't mean like, hey, if a
Well, it's
guy
just
wanted to
again,
change,
that's one thing with the LGBTQ plus community. That's another thing. I just get so tired of these. I'm gonna say, look, I'll say right wing for lack of a better term, but it's not just the right wing, right? Just get tired of people just messing with that. It's like, man, dude, what you got? Look, these folks just out here trying to live and do them. They're not harming you.
right?
Why you so affixed to these people, these folks doing what they want to do for themselves? They ain't hurt you, ain't hurt nobody else, you know. But again, it's that same energy that is involved in people bullying people in our communities. They just
Yeah,
can't
like
stand the fact that somebody is happy and it ain't them. That's what it comes down to. They can't stand the fact that somebody's doing something productive and it ain't them.
yeah. I mean,
You
I've had
know,
people say, don't support this company, they do this. All right, then don't buy from them, dude. I
right?
don't know
Don't
what
buy
to think.
from them. Look, they
Nice to
got
know.
target. Look, because they got Target on its knees right now.
Right.
Right? Because they said, oh, well, we're going to support President Trump or whatever. We're going to do whatever anti-DEI. It's like, oh, for real? Bet. I know how to deal with you.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
it's like you can support them or not. Thanks. I know. Like
Right.
that kind of thing. That's your attitude. It's like I'm kind of like I just go with what works for me. And it's like, but everybody can make that choice. That's what I'm
It's like
saying.
even the guy who told the the LGBTQ plus couple who gonna make the cake for him. Huh. He crying because it's like, oh, no one's coming to get cake from me, my business. Hey, buddy, you made a choice. You tried to infringe on these people's rights. Other people didn't like it, and so they talked to you with their dollars.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like it's sort of like you have a right to refuse service, but
Right. But
what comes with
again,
it comes with it.
like I said, consequences are a motherfucker.
Right. I mean, as I said, it's just
Right.
like sometimes I think it's like good to just let people go through what they do. And I think that's
Right.
why
But we don't
a lot
want
of,
them, we don't want nobody. It's the thing. Even Levin said that,
yeah,
you know, go through that. Don't drag people like yourself or the Episcopals of the world or other
right.
people, who are just trying to live their life. Don't drag them into it. Okay. You got your own
Yeah.
little things. Go get some help. There's
Yeah.
tons of help out here, especially these days after COVID. Therapists on every corner. All
Right.
right.
I know in California it's good. I
It's
mean,
like Michigan
yeah.
is good too. I'm saying at the
Oh,
end of the day.
yeah, like I don't speak for every state because I'm not in every state, but I just say from California because I know it's like I'll speak for certainty with
Well, no,
California.
I'm just saying that it's
Yeah.
it's countrywide. That's what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, because people, COVID broke people. So it's like, hey, they still trying to recover. But
Right.
the thing is, it's like, look, you know, just leave people alone. Let people, allow people to live the life that you want to live. If you want to live a life of peace, let other people live lives of peace. I'm gonna make you pay. I'm gonna make you suffer. Look, this is the thing, right? At the end of the day, nobody is gonna take that shit forever, and only an idiot pokes the bear.
Yeah. I'll say that because like there's only so much that can happen to somebody. Some people have higher tolerances, some people don't,
And
but
once
it's like
those,
it
and
needs to stop.
once people get to the point they don't give a fuck, hey, just be good. Again, I tell people this all the time. Tell my nephews this all the time. They be like, oh, I said, hey man, you gonna mess with that dude one too many times, buddy. I said, and he ain't gonna, and he ain't gonna run that day. So you might want to, leave that brother alone. And that's my whole thing. I'm gonna bully him, mess up your reputation. They end up looking dumb. They end up looking dumber than they tried to make you look. And these people who, my thing is this, and again, this is me being your friend.
Right.
Look, those cons who these people got to drop you, excuse my language, fuck them.
Hmm.
Keep it moving, right? Because there's no better, revenge is one of the best successes on earth. I mean, one of the successes, one of the best revenges on earth.
Hmm.
And you seem like, as I know you moving, you moving in those circles.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as I said, it's kind of interesting because it's like I learned this early on and it wasn't according to the situation, but in general. I have followers on social media, right? I have
Mhm.
people that like my stuff.
Right.
But the thing is, what I have learned is that not everybody is my follower, and neither do they quote unquote hit like on my stuff.
Sure,
They
sure, sure.
follow me. So I have a
Right.
lot more followers than what they can see or people can see.
Sure, sure,
And the
sure.
thing is that even though they say, well, fuck it, you just shouldn't be cared about what people are concerned about to a point.
Well, no,
But if
what
you're
I'm saying is this, right? I'm
no,
not
no,
saying
but
that you shouldn't care, right?
no, no,
But
no. But what I'm saying is that how this is not good when people do shit that's really fucked up on social media.
Mhm.
There's many more eyes on them.
Right, right, right,
See this and
right,
say,
right.
what the fuck is this bullshit?
Right. And so again, I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure that some of your followers gonna watch this interview and they're gonna be like, oh, okay, I didn't know that.
right.
So this is the thing. So before we leave, I want you to talk about Demon Bitch. Tell us about Demon Bitch. Tell us, I want the whole tea, because you can tell me that. How'd you come up with this idea? Give me the roots.
Well, the roots were is like I started it off with personal monsters and how it
Okay.
started off with personal monsters because it kind of spreads into the demon bitch universe.
Okay.
Excuse me. But essentially I didn't like how people seem to just take it up the ass all the time. about, you're like, oh, well, I was, you were too nice, or I was too nice, or I'm over it, but I want to stab her. I'm like, that's not being over it.
All
That's
right, you're right
actually the
about that.
opposite.
I
Yeah,
mean,
like I just would
or,
run into people that had really maladjusted ways of fucking dealing with shit that happened to them.
yeah, kind of like the people we dealing with now.
Right. So I like drew like something about like just the angriest, I drew the angriest, meanest shit, and then I wrote it and I
Right.
put it in a book, and that's what gained popularity because
Mhm.
people could relate to it. It's like, holy shit, I have felt this way. I have dealt with this
Sure,
specific
sure,
thing.
sure. People, right,
I feel less fucked up for feeling that way.
right,
And
right,
then
right.
with Demon Bitch, it expanded because what it was is that she's a low-level demon from the 13th pit of hell where people throw their dog shit in gum wrappers. And she
Okay.
wants to make the second coming of Armageddon, but the first one never happened because she's a dumb bitch. She's based off males I hate. No, it's like everybody in the world, but it's so funny because like there
Okay,
are some.
I had no idea that was where you going. Okay,
Yeah, I mean that's the overall story, but it's
that's
funny because
wild.
some of my merchandise is actually like the I'm demon bitch, hi I'm shitbird. The thing
Okay,
is like people came up to me and said, "You fucking bitch, you drew me," and I'm like, I ran into 4 or 5 of you already.
all
You're
right,
not
all right,
special.
all right.
And then they get even angrier that I didn't bully them.
Well, again,
And I've had people take ownership, like I'm this, like I'm shitbird, I'm this, and I'm sitting there like.
that means what you said resonates with your audience. That's what you want to do. That's how you do it.
Yeah, they attack me in the same in a sense that they're angry that I'm supposedly drawing about them, but
Well,
yet
my
they
thing
keep
is
putting
this.
that up on their social media, and I'm like, so you want to be this? When it's kind of funny because sometimes the people that I've happened to see that are bitching about this, they actually end up looking more and more like the character as
Right. So
time goes on.
that gives you more fuel, right? Like,
I
oh,
don't know.
I didn't have
I
to write
guess
this when it wrote itself.
yeah, and I'm just like, wow, I wasn't even thinking of you, but that's funny, because
That's
and
funny.
even
You
people
add
that
it
are
to the next
fucking
strip.
it's just like, wow, you guys are unhinged. I guess you really, it's like usually like when you find out about people like that, they don't have a strong sense of self.
Sure, sure, sure.
Some of them are kind of like narcissistic. And again, I hate banning that word, but that's the best word I can say.
Look,
And
my thing is
narcissists,
this: if a spade is a spade, call it a spade.
yeah, narcissists don't really have a good sense of self. They're very, very,
Sure.
very like their ego. The reason why they're so mean is their ego is that fragile.
You know, at one point in time, Christian, I had to check myself. Actually thought maybe I said, man, maybe you're a narcissist. But then I started checking out the boxes. I was like, you got a lot of compassion. Check, nope.
Yeah.
You know, you try to be thoughtful. Sometimes that don't always work, but you try your best to be thoughtful. Check, nope. So I checked my check boxes didn't match the narcissist check boxes.
No, it's like the narcissism is it's not like a selfish, self-centered person. It's actually even more so because their identity is rooted on this fake persona they put out.
Right,
And if
right,
you
right,
ever challenge that or say, hey, you're wrong or whatever, then they operate from a high level of anxiety and they try to
right,
destroy it.
right, right, right. Go back and say it. Go explain that one more time.
Which one?
Go back and explain that one more time.
I said that narcissists tend to have such a fragile sense of self-ego because from what I've understood, from what I've seen, they didn't really build their good sense of self. So
Right,
they
you
will
said
destroy
I'm waiting
you.
on the one beat till the destroy part. All right, let's start. Let's go back there. Let's start from there.
Okay, so they will try to destroy you
Right.
if you ever threaten their facade by just telling them no or challenging them at all.
Bang.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
And that is what you're dealing with right now.
Here's so.
So that's the okay.
I mean, as I said, I'm not a clinical
But
psychiatrist or
that's all right though.
psychologist.
You got the common sense that your family gave you.
All right. Well, I'm not a hamster. I've seen people
Right,
act like hamsters and it's
right,
ridiculous. Like, like,
right, for sure. So,
yeah.
Christy, we probably gonna do another part to this interview because it's so interesting to kind of unpack these things in the fandom. I want to talk about a little bit, like I said, with the Star Wars fandom. I know that you probably heard about the young sister who played in the Obi-Wan show and how they just went nuts on her.
Hmm.
And they went crazy on her, and she got a strong spine. She wasn't happy. But again, you got a galaxy far, far away with aliens or whatever, but you can't have a black person in there. You got
I
a
don't know.
quota.
Right,
That's
right.
hilarious. And even in Star Trek, right? Star Trek is supposed to be about all these different people all over the place. Got racism and
Well, and
stuff.
also it's Disney, so I'm kind of like, what
Well, I'm
gives?
just saying, though, but even then, though, it's like, again, these supposed to be all these, Star Trek is about, people getting together to solve problems. You got racism there too.
Right.
And you got bullying in those fandoms. Like people be like, oh, you suck. You like the Phantom Menace. Oh, you suck. If you like this, whatever. It's like, look, man, at the end of the day, all this stuff is entertainment. I'm not fighting nobody on entertainment, and I'm not going to take nobody mess with me on no damn entertainment.
I think
At
it's
the end
also
of the
like
day.
everybody feels like they have to make a big fucking deal about whatever they do. And I'm like, you really don't. Seriously, you don't.
All right. Look, I'm gonna tell you this, and now I'll end it up. I'll end it. My studio mate often says that he wishes he could get all these so-called Star Wars fans who think that they know Star Wars better than the people who created it. He says that he wish he can get them in the room and tell them to write the perfect Star Wars story. I said, what happens if you do that? He said they'll starve to death.
Oh, God.
I'm like, yes, they will.
That's hilarious.
At
Yeah.
the end of the day. So, Christy,
Yeah.
as usual, it's been real. I love chopping it up with you, as my wife would say. Uh,
Yeah.
tell us, give us, give us your socials. 'Cause I'm actually going to get those from you later, but tell us some of your socials and tell us some of the couple cons you're going to be at in the
Well,
near future.
right now, I don't have a con at the moment, but I have applied for WonderCon and Comic Con. I'm
Okay.
looking at other events, obviously Asian Invasion.
Okay.
So right now it's still nascent in
Okay.
what's happening now. But I mean I'll put them up on my social, but my socials are known as horrortourstudios.com and X, IG, Threads, Blue Sky, and Kara. And I'm also known as that on Facebook. On
Mm.
TikTok, it's horrortora.studios, but
Okay.
you can find them all on there in my link tree, Horrortora
Okay. Yeah.
Studios.
So I'm going to have you send me Linktree, and then I'll put that at the end of this episode.
Yeah, and then I have lunch hour. That's going to be on Wednesdays from noon Pacific Standard Time for an hour.
Right, you're still doing lunch hour then, right? Okay,
Yeah,
I
I do a
wanted to
lunch
know you're
hour
still
like
doing it.
every
Okay,
Wednesday.
all
Yeah.
right.
The last week I was just so thrashed. I just got my ass kicked because just like fucking San Diego, dude, it's a gauntlet.
You still with our other family, the Indie Comics Network, doing that?
Any Comics Network?
Yeah.
Um, it's like I'm affiliated with them. I
Uh,
haven't gone through all of
our
it yet,
second
but
family.
yeah, right. Yeah, yeah, basically, yeah. I think it's like there's like some stuff like on the network that they have to adjust or
Oh yeah,
anything.
that's what I heard was having some issues over
Yeah,
there. Yeah, too.
yeah, yeah. But
Well,
other than that, it's like no big deal. Like I consider them a good network too.
my thing is this, you already know I'm gonna have you on again sometime, so don't you
Right,
may well just put a pin in that one.
right, right,
Because
right,
again, we the next time we'll talk more about the industry and the art, but we're still gonna be
right,
bitching. That's what we're gonna do.
right, right,
That's what we do here in the base, like we do here in the lab. Is we talk about art, cool shit, we bitch.
right. Well, like when you got Demon Bitch, it's
Right,
bitchy.
right, for sure. At the end of the day. So,
Right.
all right, Christy, this has been Mark Dudley uh chopping it up with Christie Shinn. We're gonna have Christy on again in the future. And thank you guys. And be safe out there.
You two guys, you have a great time.